just the miracle of that. You know, 10 years ago, if you had said that we would have a virtual service for community, no one would have known what that meant. And maybe they would have thought we were just thinking good thoughts for each other at the same time. But here we are as a community celebrating truth, celebrating love, and the absolute knowing today anyway of the the gifts of all things great and small. Yes, all creatures great and small is what we are celebrating today, recognizing there is no small in the mind of God, that spirit is exactly where each one of us is. And I am so grateful that you are here with us today. We have a wonderful speaker here today, someone that I'm blessed to call a friend, and who is literally a month away from her ministerial license, just sitting for a panel, and she is done. But I know she's already there. This amazing practitioner who is just a gift. She has a beautiful voice, and we're going to be listening to some of her music as well as the message. My beloved friend Laura Topper is here, and we're going to introduce her a little bit after her song. But I wanted to start today to just tell you a little bit about who we are here. We at Centers for Spiritual Living Greater Boston are a loving community that is here to welcome anyone from wherever you are all over the world. We are grateful you are here with us. Know that at any time you can reach out to us for support, and we are here to celebrate you, truth, and absolutely being a light in the Northeast. So if you are in the area, I encourage you, please reach out to us. Find out more about our community. What we teach is science of mind, which combines philosophy, religion, and science. The best of it all, and we are here to bring it to you today. So the first song that we're going to play right before we go into our invocation is Do You Know? And again, this is by our guest today, Laura Topper. Do you know?
Do you know how beautiful you are? Can you feel the power that you hold? Do you see the light within your heart? Always there for you to have and hold. Have you found the truth in all that is? Will you hold the hand that leads the way? Do you look inside to wake your dreams? Knowing God is everywhere and more. You are the power, it's all inside of you. As you connect within and clear the way, that's all you need to do. I can feel the power that I am. I can hear the voice within my soul, knowing I am God and God is me. I now see the beauty of it all. I am the power, it's all inside of me. As I say my prayers and love each day, my light shines back at me. It's there in you. I have it all. It's here in me. I know that you can find the way. You can open your heart today. Right now's the time to realize the love we have within our hearts. Just look inside to know the way. You know the way. We are the power. We have it all as one. We can live each day in love and truth, knowing we are free. We are the power. We have it all, it's true. As we close our eyes and realize love comes shining through. As we close our eyes and realize that's all we have to do.
All creatures, great and small. It's knowing the power, of course, inside of you, but it's also knowing the power that created and allows us to be in this place, in this time, with this technology and all that goes with it. That power is inside each and every living thing. And that's what we get to celebrate. That's why when we talk about oneness, when we talk about the light, the love, the harmony, that is that oneness. What a gift it is to remember I am that I am presence. So being right here, right now, let's take a breath and just center into this space, this beautiful knowing, this truth, this time together to be in community, in communion with that one allness, that one love. Knowing that there is only one and that I am presence. I know that of each one watching today. I know that each one is blessed. Each one hears exactly what is needed. And I know our beloved Laura speaks from her heart and is heard from that heart space. I know each one is blessed from the reading from Barbara today. I know that technology has already gotten its stuff out of the way and that it is a smooth flow of spirit. Knowing that the music settles in our soul, the message lasts. It builds us to be, to connect, to shine just a little bit brighter. Knowing that all unfolds absolutely perfectly. I am so grateful. So I set it forth knowing that it is done. It is joyful. It is truly a celebration. And in this knowing, I celebrate. I say amen and blessed be. And together we say, and so it is. I am so happy to bring in the lovely practitioner, Barbara Epstein, who's going to be doing our reading this morning.
Good morning, everyone. I always go first before I do any reading to this wonderful book called Lessons from the Source by Tom Johnson, and it never fails me. I was reading several before I came upon this particular page, which says "From me to we." And there was such an epiphany about how much, as we get deeper into our spirituality, we are so much more inclined to have empathy and awareness of everything in our world. And that includes the animals that may go extinct if we don't start taking care of our beloved planet. So it isn't necessarily that in the reading, but it couples with this idea of creatures large and small. So I'm going to continue. We are moving into an era we are more fully aware that the more we help others to fulfill their dreams and desires, the more the law of cause and effect blesses our own life as well as those whom we help. We are all interdependent, and we must learn to use our resources for everyone's benefit. If we do not do this, the results can be disastrous for our society and for the entire world. Since the law of life is that only have what we give, then the more we acknowledge the need and right of each person in our life to have their good, whatever that may be, the more we will help them attain it by right use of thought and our creative action. We have come through the me decades and have seen that this approach does not really work. To be sure, each one of us must arrive at a sense of self, a realization that we only have in our life the things and people who represent our own level of self esteem. But awakening to self awareness cannot be the purpose for getting more and more things for living selfishly unto ourselves. None of this is any good unless we share ourselves with others. And none of this means anything unless we are actively meeting our challenges with a you and me attitude. We are only fully alive when we have a purpose to serve. Our energy level goes sky high when we are actively involved with challenges that bless the world. There is excitement in our lives. We are part of a group that actions of group action that benefits all. Not wanting to be involved with others and their well-being causes us to direct the law of mind with the idea of separation with others, and their well-being causes us to direct the law of mind with the idea of separation, and we ourselves are the ones that are hurt. If we are not helping others to make their demonstrations, we are not helping ourselves to make our own. We only have what we generate, share, and express, and this means that we have to include the welfare of others in our self expression. We all have within ourselves the power to help solve great challenges, not just our own, but the challenges of the world. If we do not play a part in world peace, in helping to solve any world problem, we are using mind in a very minor and insignificant way. When we are dedicated to help solve great problems in our society, we open the door to a mind of higher level of thinking so that tremendous ideas pour forth into our consciousness, and then we truly begin to live out of the mind of God.
And so it is. Thank you so much, Barbara. And now we have our next song before I introduce our speaker is perfect for that after that reading. And I even love just the title, From Me to We. For we are this oneness. We are that I am presence. And when we remember it, when we take those steps and share the best of us together, amazing things happen. So let's remember as we listen to the song that I am the place that God shows up by Eddie Watkins Jr. Yes, you are that place.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road. Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place.
I am the place where God
You
lives,
are the place.
moves and breathes and has
We
its
are the
being.
place
I am the place
where God shows up. I am the place.
I am the place where God
You are the
moves and
place.
breathes and has
We
its
are the
being.
place
I am the place
where God shows up. I want you to clap your hands and sing it with me. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
All creatures, great and small, absolutely was where we are right here, right now, celebrating that each one is the place where God shows up. And I am so grateful to finally present to you an amazing woman who she's on New Thought Media Network, and I think she has 4 shows at the moment. She is everywhere, God bless her. And I am so grateful to have her here with us. She's been here before, both as a musician and as a speaker. And she actually is beginning something new, which is the Women of Power Alliance that's opening its doors on September 1st, which is pretty exciting. It's a networking group that I'm sure we're going to hear more of eventually. You might have to tune into the show for that, but or reach out to her. You can absolutely reach out to her as well. Now, I know we're live. We'd love to hear your comments. We'd love to hear who's out there. Please, we are live this morning. We'd love for you to share with us. So, the host of Women of Power and the Cosmic Prayer on New Thought Media Network, and this close to being Reverend Laura. It is practitioner, but so close, so close. Next, actually, October 3rd. So knowing that as people hold both of us in that knowing of that light, it's so wonderful to have you here, Laura. Welcome to Centers for Spiritual Living Greater Boston. And all the way from the UK, you are right here, right now, in this oneness with us. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, Gina, thank you so much for inviting me to be here today to share and to be with you and with Barbara and your community. And yes, good morning, Maria. Good morning to you. It's so great to be here and to be connected in this way. And I love the music that you've played, Gina, the song that you've just played, I'm the place where God shows up. That's so aligned with what I believe, and of course what we are believing here and wanting to know more of in our hearts, and how we get to that place of absolutely knowing it in every moment without questioning it. And that's why I'm really excited to be talking today about all creatures great and small, including the furry, the fuzzy, the slimy, the scaly, and everything else, everything as one. You know, I believe that we have one problem that we are all aiming to solve in our hearts, as humanity, as individuals and collectively. And for me, this problem is separation. When we get to that place of knowing oneness, of really truly knowing it, then we can live a life that feels so aligned, so divinely lit, that we're not having to look for God anywhere. We just know it. God is here as us, in us and through us. So the affirmation for today is, I embrace all of life, including the seemingly great and small. Thank you, Gina, for making this beautiful affirmation. So creative. I love it, because my mind went to, animals as just such an incredible, nature, and all creatures as being who we are and a part of this life, and we can't separate ourselves from them. And I kind of went on a tangent, as I do sometimes with this topic. So I wanted to bring it back to the creatures within us, and our own thoughts and feelings, and those kind of those big creatures and those tiny ones that can navigate how we create our everyday and our worldly experience. So let's go to Ernest Holmes, of course, my go-to every time to begin with, when he states in the basic ideas of science of mind that consciousness sleeps in mineral life, it dreams in plant life, it awakens in animal life, and comes to self-consciousness in humanity. And isn't this true? It's everywhere. Consciousness that we know of as God is everywhere and everything. We can't separate it off into bits and pieces. Although it takes form in these different ways, we see life differently. If we think about the animal kingdom, I mean, I went to the tiniest animal, well, whether it's a sea creature, and it's zooplankton, and it is the tiniest form of life. And it is here for a reason. It's sustaining the seabed and uncertain. It's part of the food web and the food chain underwater. And it has a metaphysical meaning of this plankton will move on if it's feeling that it's being threatened in any way. It will move very quickly in great swamps of it, and it's barely seen by the human eye. And then I went to lizards. You know how lizards, the symbolism of a lizard is linked to the sun and light and regeneration and renewal. I mean, its tail will regrow, and it's a symbolism of good fortune. And it has the ability to blend in with its surroundings. Isn't this incredible? Each of these creatures has its own way of being in the world to survive and sustain itself. And then I thought of the dinosaur, this great creature, this kind of ancient creature. And we talk about our thoughts as old beliefs, the dinosaurs that are looming around, that we want to change these beliefs and change these thought patterns. But sometimes it's difficult to get a grip of the pattern and actually dissolve it and change it. And then I went to the ant, this tiny, tiny creature. They work together as in a team. They do things collectively, and they're hardworking and consistent, and they're into the detail, and they cooperate and have perseverance. absolutely, they symbolize loyalty and they're practical. Think about the ant in you. Think about the ant in me. And we're all doing this, striving to work together as one. We are as one. And then I went to the monkey and the monkey mind, and that chattering of self-chatter, self-talk that's going on constantly, subconsciously. We're not even aware of the beliefs. And yet we can look at our lives, the outpicturing and the form of our lives, and see where there can be changes for the better. And the monkey is clever, it's spirited, it's mischievous and creative. And it wants to have fun. And the butterfly that symbolizes freedom and mystery and transformation and change and hope and life. And we have the eagle that represents ambition as it soars high and can see from a higher perspective. That's us. We have the ability to see things from a greater and bigger perspective, especially when we open up to the visioning process and knowing that greater vision for our lives. And the largest of all is the blue whale. This blue whale has such a high spiritual meaning, including magnificence, communication, protection, and gratitude, and wisdom and transformation. All of these abilities that it has. And each of us have in us all of this, as we are one. We're not separate from any of it. We were talking before we came live. Gina was talking about a cat that she had become really, really fond of, a stray cat. And it just took me back to my thought of this seagull. I live right by the sea. And for months and months, ever since we've been living here, this seagull has been tapping on the window, and I called it Norman. It was like my nickname for this seagull was Norman. It would come and tap on the window, and sometimes quite fiercely tapping on the window here. Okay, regularly. It was like Norman was really wanting to communicate. And then months would go by and I didn't see Norman. And I was really questioning, I hope Norman's okay. I hope nothing's happened to Norman. I was getting a bit worried. And then anyway, about a week ago, he showed up again, Norman. I mean, I'm assuming he was a he. Anyway, it showed up again, knocking at my window. And it was a reminder for me just to trust and know that, nature is happening and life comes and goes. And yet we do get attached in our minds and in our hearts to the animals that are here in our lives. If I look at the word creature, I can break it down. Metaphysically, metaphysical means beyond the physical. And all of our teachings are based in this realm. We're coming from the infinite. When we use spiritual mind treatment, we're treating from the non-physical. We're not treating in the effect. And the word creature means creation. The creation of God, making something out of itself and expressing itself and wanting to know more of itself. And in the Science of Mind textbook, we're told that, spirit, Ernest Holmes writes the activity of spirit will never cease. This creation is continually happening. We're creating when we speak a spiritual mind treatment. We're creating anew into the world of form. And we are creative beings, and we're creating with our intention, with our observation, and with our attention, what we're placing our attention on. And quantum physics shows us this, that we are, as we put our attention onto the wave particle, it's collapsing into form. So we have this incredible use of this power that is each of us. We are able to use it. And yet a lot of the time we're dormant with this. We're not as aware as we could be. We live in a state of, well, it's happening. This is life. There's nothing I can do about it. Who am I to have a greater experience of life? And yet we know that thoughts are the seeds that we're planting forwards. Not only the thoughts, our feelings, our ideas, our intention. It's all our attitude, our behaviors, the words that we speak. We have the course with Science of Mind, a foundational course, the power of your word. Every word that we're speaking is seeding into the picture or the garden that we're planting those thoughts into, they will grow. They're forever evolving, expanding, and growing and revealing themselves. So our thoughts and our feelings and intentions and our actions, and these outcomes, they are the effects. And there's one piece here that I'm really interested in. Maybe this takes me back to the ant. This is the detail. This is our habits. What we are doing on a habitual basis that we aren't even aware of, that we're creating our experience by just doing the same and the same and the same without even looking at our lives to see, where can I change this habit? Where can I expand on something, or where can I release something that isn't necessary anymore in my life? Really, our lives are run by our habits, and our habits are really run by our subconscious programming that's keeping us in the loop of doing the same thing all the time for whatever reason. And these can be old patterns where we become so used to it that our body has taken on. It's like we've embodied the habit. It's part of who we are. And yet I know that it's not who we are, because we're not defined by our thoughts or our habits or our feelings. We are the light of the divine that is always shining in us and through us. So we can ask ourselves how to create and how to break these habits. And I could give a whole other talk, which I haven't got time for right now, that can go into this in detail. But the thing is that a habit can be changed, can be transformed. One interesting thing that I'm really pleased that I've discovered recently is that it does take longer than the kind of the 21 day. There's a lot of 21 days, or that's what I hear, 40 days. It's actually 66 days. It's been researched and found very recently by a university here in the UK that with 66 days, an automatic habit can be changed, or an automatic response to something can be changed. So we're being asked, I suppose, by life and shown by science, as science and spirituality, as we can see that we can work together with them, we can create a different experience by using what science is learning and bringing this into our spiritual practice. So for 66 days, we could make a decision to actually change our intention and use spiritual practice, use prayer, use mantra, use affirmations, and be consciously active in changing the way that we experience our lives. It may not happen in day 1 or day 2 or day 20, but now that we know this, 66 days, we can create a pathway for change, and we can be active in this co-creation process. So Ernest Holmes says, because I was researching Ernest Holmes and habits, and he's written a few papers on habits. He's interested in habits and how they're formed. And he says that the reason that anyone reacts to a subconscious command or habit is because they have accepted the command without a reservation. And that person has taken it into the very depths of their mind. And now that they have done this, the thought pattern takes control and works for them. So what does this tell me? Or what does it tell you? Think about this. For me, it says that we can change the way that we think and the way that we feel, and that we can use spiritual mind treatment to even change a habit. So with that monkey mind kind of chatter going off, that could be really unsupportive of the way that we are talking to ourselves, the way that we're looking and perceiving life, the way that we're seeing another, or the way that we're reading the news and making judgments on people, places, and things. This takes us away from the idea of oneness and wholeness, and keeps us in that habit of separation. So all creatures, great and small, includes our thoughts and our beliefs. And how they're out picturing is going to absolutely rely on what we are saying internally and how we're expressing that externally in our lives. That's going to create the life that we truly desire. So we have to put the work into this. We have to be aware and we have to be willing to make the changes and to say, yes, I'm willing to. I'm willing to make a change. Sometimes it's not instant. Sometimes we have to, go through a series of healings or revealings or facing things internally that might not be comfortable, and yet they're coming up so that we can get through this, change it, see our lives differently, and experience our life very, very differently. In this study of habits, it's shown that it is the repetition that creates a mental association between a situation and an action. That's a plane. We have an air show. We have an air show going on here, so that was like a jet going by, just so that you know. So we can change this automatic response by changing our habit, by being more consciously aware of what we are doing, saying, thinking, moment by moment by moment. So let's take a breath here. And let's know, as Ralph Waldo Trine has written, and Ernest Holmes, delved into his work as he was a prolific writer, that thoughts are forces. Like builds like, and like attracts like. For one to govern their thinking, then, is to determine their life. And I will take into consideration that at that time, thinking was the word that these writers and New Thought teachers would be using. Thinking. It didn't go beyond really intention, attitude, feeling. They write a lot about thinking. And yet I believe that what they're really saying is the whole atmosphere of the way that we are being in the world. We have control over this. And as we are tuning into this with the law of being, then we ripple this out into our world. If we live the idea of oneness, we experience the idea of oneness, of connection, community, togetherness, unity. It's all up to me and it's all up to you, to the degree that we're choosing and we want to experience this for our lives. Ernest Holmes reminds us that our prayers must be imbued with warmth, color, and conviction. The act of conviction, it states in the Science of Mind textbook, is the act of convincing or compelling an admission of the truth. So we're being invited continually to surrender to this truth and to come away from the idea that we have of ourselves and to come back to the divine template, to the divine magnificence, the knowing that God has of itself in us and through us. It's not always easy because we're living on this planet, Mother Earth, Gaia. We're living here with millions of sentient beings, and I believe and realize that every thought, idea, and feeling and attitude is captured in this mass consciousness. It's like a fog of ideas that create a limitation, that can create a limitation for how we see our lives. I mean, think about it. When was the last time that you wanted to do something or to change a habit? Let's go back to that, for example. And then maybe a message would come in of why you can't do it or shouldn't do it, or there was a reason why, something that was limiting you in that moment from making that behavioral change or that inner change. And this is because we have this kind of set point, and Ernest Holmes pushes us to increase our mental equivalent continually, to accept more, because in the mind of God, in the mind of the divine, there is no limitation. There is no lack. And we're living from this infinite place rather from what we're seeing as the outer effect. That's like the trap. That's where we limit ourselves. And the ego is always wanting to constantly feed that part of us that will keep us limited. So we have this incredible tool, this incredible practice. We have a few in religious science. One is spiritual mind treatment. Another is visioning. And another is simply being, meditating, opening up to being more and more continually aligned with the divine. And we have these practices which we can make a part of our lives, a part of our daily lives. So let's just come to an affirmation here, and I'm inviting you to speak this affirmation out loud with me. I'm going to repeat it once. I'm going to leave a space. In God, all is possible. In God, all is possible. I now create new healthy habits that support peace, vitality, prosperity, and oneness. I now create new healthy habits that support peace, vitality, prosperity, and oneness. We are one. And the more that we accept that this too is God expressing, that there is nothing against us and everything is for us. And as we can live our lives like that, we start experiencing the most incredible experience of life, because it's coming from that place of inclusion rather than resistance. I'm going to leave here with a few truths that I love, just as we come to a closing here. To becoming aware of ourselves and our emotional states and the way that we think and that we feel. The Talmud, the Hebrew texts, remind us that we don't see things as we are, we see things as they are. So we want to see things as we are. And who are we? God. Emerson reminds us that we become what we think about most of the time. Jesus, the master teacher, he said, "Be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind." All of this is a reminder that we can take control over what we think, how we feel, and how we accept ourselves in this great picture of life. With God, everything is possible. And this too is God expressing all of it. So I'm grateful to be here right now, and I'm inviting you to open up, to own all of those creatures, to love them, to check your habits, to look at your life and to see where you can make those changes so that you live the life that you truly deserve as one. And as we do this, we uplift humanity as a collective, as the whole, because we're not separate from any of it. It's all who we are right here and right now. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much for that beautiful message, Laura. Absolutely. And I took my notes as well. And I liked it when it was 21 days. It was easier to think that I only needed to do something for 21, not 66. But
I know. Yeah.
the beauty is we can treat and affirm, and in one instance, anything is possible.
That's it, Gina. That's absolutely it. We can make the choice right now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So thank you for this beautiful message and for being with us here this morning. And I love the sound effects. Love that the air show's going on right.
Can you hear them?
Only the one, but it's just it's those moments that they're greater than us, and you just smile and you laugh because you think the timing of everything. So just it's in this moment. I just want to say congratulations on your engagement. Also,
Thank you,
here
Gina.
at CSL Greater Boston, we're very happy for you and Jason. From those
Thank
of you who know,
you.
the music we've been playing is from Affinity, and that's her and Jason Salmon, and we're so happy for you. And you actually offered a free concert yesterday, which I was blessed to be a part of, and it was beautiful. And the two of you, just your love is beautiful. So thank you so much for for being here and offering all that you are. And yes, thank you from Maria as well. She loved your
Hi,
message.
Maria.
And Bill from CSL
I'm
Cincinnati.
Bill. Hi,
Love.
Bill.
So just, thank you for sharing your message, your light with the world in the many ways that you do. Looking forward to hearing more about your your alliance, that your new Women of Power. For those of you that haven't, she has a beautiful song, Woman of Power. On You can go to YouTube and find that one. But there's so much that you do, and you are an inspiration. So thank you. We all have these ideas and these thoughts that go through our mind, but when you focus, it's amazing what can happen. We get to choose
Absolutely.
and choose again, and that's truly the gift of it. So thank you for being here with us, and I'm going to just do a couple of announcements and bring you back for our treatment. So thank you for being here today. We appreciate you being here virtually with us. Our summer schedule, actually, we meet the 2nd and the 4th. So next week we will be in person. We will be live virtually as well as in person in Medford. So we'd love for you to come in and join us. And we also, it is time for our sacred giving, knowing that whatever it is that we are giving, it activates receiving. So that law of circulation that just says what we give must come back, and it always does in tenfold. So I invite you to share in our sacred giving affirmation. If you can say it with me: divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And knowing in that circulation that the blessings are absolutely circulating. Knowing that whatever is given actually expands CSL, and that in our area we get the opportunity to be the only one north of, we have South Coastal Teaching Chapter, South Coastal Mass, and then there's us. So us north on the East Coast, we get to be it, and we get to expand in amazing ways. And what you give gives us that opportunity to reach more and more people. We also vision and for the ways of how to do that every Monday. If you aren't familiar with the visioning process, it's amazing, and we will explain it to you. You don't have to know in advance. Just join us. This is the link. Go to our website. It's cslboston.org, and there's a link that'll take you right there, a live link, or you can go on Facebook as well. We always broadcast at 5 o'clock Eastern Time on New Thought Media Network as well. So all over the world, we are here. And Vista is coming up. I want to save the date. There'll be more information coming for February, but the CSL Vista convention is there's already information out there online, and you can check it out. But for now, I just wanted you to save the date and know that there is more to follow. And the way to give to our center, of course, is this PayPal. You can scan that little scanner thing, and it'll take you right to us. Or you can also go to PayPal and just type in CSL Boston, and you'll find it. So thank you. We appreciate whatever it is you're circulating our way, and also the prayers that you give to our center, knowing that that is what uplifts. Consciousness is everything. So as we come together virtually or in person, knowing that that lifts and lights the way. So join our beloved community. Join that love. We'd love to have you here. And within the next couple of weeks, we've got some exciting announcements. We're going to be doing a midweek evening, and we have classes to announce. So there's a lot of great stuff coming up. Looking forward to you joining us for that. And I'm going to bring Laura back in to do our closing treatment. And then we have your song that's going to close us out for the day. So I am going to leave it to you, and then I'll be back.
Thank you, Gina. And yes, let's do this. Let's pray. Let's know the truth. Let's turn within. So I'm inviting us here to close our eyes and to take a breath, simply breathing in this beloved breath. For the purpose of this treatment, to know that yes, I'm embracing all of life right now. The seemingly great and small, everything as one. As I know that this one thing is expressing in, as, and through life that is infinite and eternal. This thing itself that I know of as God, as this divine presence and power, that is the light and the life and the love, the joy, the peace and harmony, vitality and well-being, that is absolutely showing up as omnipresent. It is everywhere. And it is the idea of creation itself, this one thing as God, shining through everything. That in the world of form, if I take my mind to the multiverses and beyond, this too is God. The stars and the suns and the moons and this planet Earth with every sentient being and creature here on planet Earth, Mother Earth, Gaia, home to billions of beings, to all of nature, to everything that is here. And this is God expressing this idea, seeking to express itself and know itself and evolve and unfold itself. And as I breathe this in with gratitude for this, I know that I am one that I am. This thing is me, expressing in, as, and through me as I show up as Laura, as this divine, unique expression of God. That there is no separation here. As this thing is me, is you, is each of us, God expressing right now as you here, that we are the place where God shows up. I know that I am this, and I realize that there is no great and small in the mind of the divine. It is all love, and this love is shining through here right now. That as I speak my word into the mind of God, that a yes is here, because the law is always working and accepting. And so this love is here right now, showing up for me, for each of us. It is whispering through everything. It is uniting us. This love is who I am. And as I open my heart even more fully to knowing this love, I know that I am connected as one, that there is no separation, that love is here right now, seeking to express, to unfold, to show itself in the most dynamic and powerful and wondrous of ways. I know that there is enough. There is enough prosperity. There is enough money. There is enough health. There is enough of all of life, as God is infinite. And I know that this shows up as my expression, as of each of our expressions, as we come together in our minds, as we shift the way that we think and we feel and we see love and we live life, knowing that God is loving and living through us. And this lifts me right now, lifting each of us as I see a world where each of us are fulfilled, are love-filled, are vitality fueled, and living from that place of the divine, knowing that love is always here. It is limitless and it is infinite. This is the source of my being and of your being too. And for this, I am grateful. So grateful for Gina, for Barbara, for every single being who is watching this, whether in real time or at any time, because this is perfect. I'm grateful for this technology, for CSL Greater Boston. And I'm grateful for the love of God that is always, always, always here. And so knowing this, I say yes as I step aside, accept this so deeply in my heart, knowing that it is done, that as I speak my word with this conviction and faith, that the law is saying yes, always saying yes. And with this yes, I let it be, knowing that love is all there is. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much for that
Good.
beautiful knowing. It is. It is good and
Good.
very good.
It's all good.
It is to have you here with us today. And we people can reach you. The best way to reach you is to go to Facebook, and you're Laura Topper Love. So it's Laura Topper Love to look you up, and people can find you on the Cosmic Prayer, Women of Power, and you have you've got so much good happening, and I can't wait to hear more about the new initiative. And thank you for being here with us. You are just such a light, such a light. Thank you so much. And so it is. So I am going to have you take us out. I wish everyone a wonderful week, but I want you to tell us about this song as you take us out for the week. Let us know, needless to say, this beautiful song, One Mind.
Oh, Gina, thank you. And thank you to Barbara and your beloved, blessed community. It's lifted me and lifted my heart and filled my heart with joy to be here today sharing. And yes, this song, One Mind, is from our album, The Gift. All of our music is on YouTube. You can find it there and listen to it there. And this is just it's like got a reggae beat. It's quite light and boppy, so we can just move to it wherever we are and just know that we are in, as, and with, and of the one mind. It doesn't go anywhere. It's here right now, and we can use it. So that's the reminder in the message of this song.
So let's celebrate it. I wish everyone a beautiful and absolutely exciting and fantastic week. Blessings and love to all.
It's a cosmic force working night and day through the stratospheres. One truth as it takes my thoughts to the oversoul, traveling